Cricket Code of Fair Play. The Kolkata sun warmed the back of Rudra's neck. The school maidan buzzed like 1,000 happy bees. It was the day of the inter-house cricket final, and the air tasted of dust, cut grass, and the sweet promise of victory. Rudra, captain of the Bengal Tigers, tapped his bat on the cracked earth of the pitch. He was only 9, but the weight of the final rested on his small shoulders. Across the field, the Kolkata Knights were warming up, their confident shouts echoing in the humid air. This wasn't just any game. This was for the shiny trophy that sat on Principal Ghosh's desk, winking in the sunlight. "Hey, look at this!" shouted Samir, Rudra's fastest bowler. He held up the cricket ball. It was old and scuffed, with one side worn smooth as a river stone. At the same time, Arjun, the captain of the Knights, pointed a finger towards the edge of the field. "And that's not a proper boundary rope. It's all frayed." An argument exploded instantly. A shot that goes over that rope should only be 3 runs, not a 4, Samir yelled, his face turning red. Arjun shot back. "We play with the ball we have, and the rope is the boundary." The argument spread like wildfire. Soon, both teams were shouting, forgetting the game entirely. Rudra tried to make his voice heard over the noise, but it was useless. The match hadn't even started, and it was already falling apart. Just as a full-blown fight was about to begin, a calm, clear voice cut through the chaos. "Is this cricket or a fish market?" Everyone turned. It was Coach D'Souza, his kind eyes crinkling at the corners as he walked towards them. He placed a gentle hand on Rudra's shoulder, and Rudra felt a wave of relief wash over him. Coach D'Souza gathered the 2 teams in a circle. He didn't scold them. "Tell me," he said softly, "what's more important, winning a game or playing a game you can all be proud of?" The boys shuffled their feet. "In gully cricket," the coach continued, "when you don't have perfect pitches or new balls, what's the first thing you do?" He looked from face to face. "You agree on the rules." Together, he produced a bucket of white chalk and a large, clean piece of cardboard. He handed them to the 2 captains. "You are in charge. You decide what is fair." A change came over the maidan. The shouting stopped, replaced by a low hum of cooperation. Rudra and Arjun, who had been arguing moments before, took the bucket of chalk and walked the edge of the field together. They pulled the frayed rope straight, and then, side by side, drew a thick, bright white boundary line that no one could mistake. They weren't rivals anymore. They were leaders, solving a problem. They smiled at each other, a silent agreement passing between them. The game was on. Back at the pitch, Rudra took the large piece of cardboard and a thick black marker. At the top, he wrote in big, bold letters, "Cricket Code of Fair Play." The teams huddled around, shouting out ideas. "Admit it if the ball touched your bat, even if the umpire misses it," said a small boy from the Knights. "No name-calling or making fun of players," added Samir. "If a player falls down," Rudra said, writing furiously, "the closest person helps them up, no matter what team they're on." They pinned their new code to the scoreboard for everyone to see. The match that followed was the best anyone had ever seen. The competition was fierce, with every run cheered and every wicket celebrated. But the spirit of the game was different. When a Knight batsman tripped while running, it was Samir, the same boy who had been shouting the loudest, who dropped everything to help him to his feet. The game was thrillingly close. It all came down to the final over. The Bengal Tigers needed just 4 runs to win. Rudra, their captain and best batsman, was at the crease, facing the very last ball of the match. The bowler charged in. The ball flew through the air, a red blur. It swung late, deceiving Rudra. He adjusted his shot, his bat flashing down. There was a tiny sound, a faint snick, quieter than a whisper. The ball nestled into the wicket-keeper's gloves. The Knights team erupted in a massive appeal, their voices shouting, "How's that?" But the umpire, a teacher who was standing far away, couldn't have heard the tiny sound. He shook his head. Not out. Rudra's teammates began to cheer. The umpire's decision meant they had won the match. For a single second, Rudra stood frozen. His heart hammered against his ribs. He could just stay quiet. He could lift his bat in victory. The trophy would belong to the Bengal Tigers. His friends were already celebrating. But then his eyes drifted past them to the scoreboard. He saw the code they had all written together. Admit it if the ball touched your bat. He took a deep, shaky breath. He looked at the umpire, then at Arjun. In a voice that was steady and clear, he said, "I hit it. I'm out." He tucked his bat under his arm and began the long walk back. A strange silence fell over the entire maidan. Rudra's own team stared, their mouths open in shock. Then a new sound started. It was Arjun, the Knights captain. He was clapping, slowly at first, then faster and louder. His whole team joined him. Then understanding dawned on the faces of the Bengal Tigers, and they began to clap too. Soon, everyone, players, teachers, parents, was on their feet, applauding. They weren't clapping for the winning team. They were clapping for an act of true sportsmanship. The Knights won the trophy, but that afternoon, both teams shared cool glasses of buttermilk under the great banyan tree, and everyone felt like a champion. The next morning, a copy of the Cricket Code of Fair Play was pinned in every classroom in the school.